Welcome to the Cozy Little Library today with your Clean Reads Book Buddy. I'm beyond excited to share with you 7 more clean and cozy fall books that were not in the video before last. That 70 plus clean and cozy books that I shared with y'all. 7 more ideas for you to read in November.
Woo! Come on!
I recently discovered Casey Stockton. This is a clean Regency romance author. There is another one of her books on this list. It's in another series, so I'll talk about that in a second. But this one is The Jewels of Halstead Manor. It is book number 1 in the Ladies of Devon series. Now, this is on KU. I think the whole series is, and a lot of her audiobooks, including this series, she has for free on her YouTube channel, which was fantastic. Our main female character, she gets a cryptic letter from her uncle, an estranged uncle that she does not know whatsoever. He's inviting her to his remote estate in Devon. So we have this remote gray stone castle-like mansion, Halstead Manor, in the woods. Very secluded. So already tons of buzzwords. We've got an autumnal backdrop. She's just about to arrive. It is the dark of night. She didn't mean for it to be so late when she got there, but she literally comes upon someone who is in dire need of her help, and that's when the excitement begins right away. There is all kind of mystery, peril, and intrigue in this one, but the really neat thing is that it's spooky, like there's someone with a gun in the woods. They hear a gunshot. Someone may get a gunshot in their arm. It's just grazed though, so there's nothing like awful violence or anything like that, but it is very exciting, and that starts from the beginning. However, it does go very slow and cozy, so there are very many twists and turns and exciting moments, but at the same time everything is very kind of slow happening and cozy. It's just the perfect mix. I really liked it. Who is after the jewels? Who has the gun? Who is shooting? And all these gunshots that we hear even when she's out on horseback, and a gentleman that gets this grazed gunshot to the arm. Who did it? Who is that woman in the woods? Who is watching them? All this stuff is going on, and it was a lot of fun. I can't wait to go forward in this series. Oh, and she also meets a group of women. I think there are 4 of them, and they are wealthy women that make up the literary society. It's just a lot of fun. The Governess of Highland Hall by Carrie Taransky. Let me show you that cover a little bit better. I felt like this was a really unique story, Christian historical fiction. This is book number 1 in the Edwardian Brides series. You've got Julia, our main female character. She and her parents have been missionaries in India, and she is quite desperate to find a job on her own, and she readily accepts the burden of financial support for her parents. So we find out her character very early on. She is a very responsible young woman, and I don't know if you can see this beautiful mansion in the background, but she gets the opportunity to take a job as a governess. And for whatever reason, I love a governess story. I think because of the education, the academia part of it. And this mansion is full of a lot of people, and she has to start taking on teaching 4 privileged, ill-mannered charges. The owner of the estate is a widow. He has 2 young children, but then he has his deceased cousin's 2 teenage girls. So her coming into this situation that's already a little dysfunctional, it just kind of throws water onto the fire, and it is just lots of drama, but it's very interesting. But it starts October 1911, Berkshire, England. I'll read you just a little bit so you can get the writing style. Julia Foster lifted her gaze to the clear October sky as a lark swooped past. Her steps slowed and her thoughts took flight, following the bird as it dipped into the golden trees beyond the meadow. If only she could fly away, back to the familiar life and cherished friends she had left behind in India, but that dream would have to wait. She shifted her gaze to the country lane rising before her. Around the next bend she would see Highland Hall. At least that was what she remembered, but 12 years had passed since she had attended a charity bazaar at the large estate before her family left for India. What if she had misjudged the distance or the time it took to walk from the village? She quickened her pace. It wouldn't do to be late for her 10 o'clock appointment with Mrs. Emmett, the housekeeper. So I will say that the missionary work that they did in India, it does mention a little bit about young girls getting in a situation where they're taken advantage of, if you know what I mean. The book is not about that. Again, a lot of drama going on. I have the other 2 books and I'm really excited to get, I was very, very invested in this story. It is Christian fiction. The faith in this is excellent and I highly recommend it for autumn. Let's talk about Winterset by Tiffany Odekirk. This was just published on October the 1st, and it's only 272 pages. It didn't feel short. There was a lot going on with this book. When I read the tagline, A Hidden Past, A House with Secrets, and then saw that it was Northern England, late fall 1820, I was like, yes, please. Because our main female character, she's hiding out for her life in a very unlikely place. She's in an abandoned ancient manor that has priest holes and a lot of hidden historical secrets. But then a long absent heir shows up. Of course, he's handsome and he has all of his story coming along. There's a lot of misunderstanding between why he hasn't come there. Before he even arrives, she decides that she's going to haunt him and she's going to hide and basically kind of prank him to try to get rid of him. And once you find out why she's hiding, I really became invested in the story. I thought it was hilarious and super cute at the very start, especially the first 50%. There was a little bit of over the top kind of drama and things that happen and adventure. Very light, semi-detailed, a little physical abuse. There's some gun violence and some mental health asylum talk, and loved the gothic Regency vibes. Have you heard about the Mandie books by Lois Gladys Leopard? Many people say that these are nostalgic for them. I had never read them though. Apparently there are a lot of books, but I'm going to specifically talk about book number 1, which is called Mandie in the Secret Tunnel. Morgan's Endless Bookshelf suggested that we start reading these, so we've read books 1 through 4 together, and by far book number 1 is the best. To me, nothing else touches that book so far. I'll show you the image on the back. This particular edition has books 1 through 5 in it. So I was just going to show you the book covers. Book number 1, it says, when Mandie's father dies, his Cherokee friend provides comfort and a secret tunnel reveals Mandie's history. She has a lot of questions. Her mom has passed, then her dad passes, and she's really in a very hard predicament. At the very beginning, I will say it is extremely sad. It's extremely raw. I mean, it starts at her father's funeral. People are being not so kind. But when Mandie gets to the mansion, that's when the fun started for me, because something is missing and she's super brave, 12 years old, and she meets a friend from next door to her, and these two girls start going up and exploring, trying to find what's missing. I'll read you just a little bit of that. I will say Uncle Ned, the Cherokee man that is just loves Mandie and she loves him. I loved his character. Also, when she gets to the mansion, there's someone that works there named Aunt Lou, and she is a hoot and she is very sweet. I loved her. So let me read just a little bit about the spooky part. At last, sighed Polly, as they reached yet another door at the top of the stairs. Upon opening it, they found themselves in a long hallway. Holding their half-spent candles at arm's length, they cautiously followed the corridor to the only door they could see in the hall, at the left. Mandie, arriving first, pushed it open. Before them was a huge, impressive bedroom, furnished with 2 ornately carved 4-poster beds, each covered with white crocheted spread and draped with matching canopy curtains. There were 2 full-length mirrors with heavy wood frames to match the beds. 4 tall windows were covered with sheer Priscilla curtains. Before the girls could take in more of the meager light, the canopy curtain moved slightly on one of the beds, and they heard a strange noise. At the same time, a draft from somewhere snuffed out their candles. With this, the frightened girls went down the hall in search of the stairway, but just as they reached it, the door slammed violently, and when they grabbed for the doorknob, they discovered there was none. So that's just a little part. very vintage and nostalgic feeling, kind of like Nancy Drew. And I found out, by the way, this is written in the early 1900s. The author wrote them to teach about morals and faith for young people. So there is scripture, there's talk about morality in the conversations. All in all, it was a lot of fun, very sweet. So if you want a very gentle middle grade mystery, I highly recommend Mandie in the Secret Tunnel. A Proper Governess by Casey Stockton. It's actually book number 2 in the Hearts of Harewood series. Really impressed with this author's writing. It is squeaky clean. It's very, very sweet. It's slow and cozy, and it did end up being very autumnal. There are quite a few things about the outdoors, but mainly our 2 main characters meet in a really unusual circumstance. Our main female is very desperate for a job. She ends up working for Lord Ryland. She's got some secrets going on. She actually knows him from before, and he doesn't remember her, but he's basically a recluse, very wealthy, but it's a sweet story. There is a sweet little boy that brings them together, and it is really super sweet. A Thief in the Theater, a Kit mystery. Now, I had no idea that American Girl had mystery books until recently, but I was very, very excited because I knew that they would probably be my favorite kind, super gentle and fun. This book, after having just reread the American Girl Kit books, all 6 of the original series, this book felt like it picked up where the other one left off. So Kit is on vacation and she decides to volunteer at the local theater. She wants to write an article. If you know anything about Kit, she's from the Great Depression era, and she's all about working at the local newspaper and writing stories. So she wants to write about a play that this theater is putting on. In the meantime, she really befriends a fella that is her age, and he is being bullied, and so she helps him through that a lot. And that part was very heartwarming, the things that she did for him and helped out. But what's also fun is this play and these actors. It has a lot to do with Shakespeare. And so Shakespeare is talked about a whole lot in other books. Famous actors have come from New York City to come do this, but something happens at the theater. And of course, Kit is right in the middle of it, trying to figure out what's going on. Even though this doesn't happen in the fall, it is very mysterious. It doesn't feel like it's summertime. All of the scenes while she's in the theater just feel a little bit creepy, and there's a lot of mystery going on, and it's just a whole lot of fun. American Girl Felicity Mystery, Lady Margaret's Ghost. Especially if you like colonial America, anything like I do, fiction books. This is so fun. Felicity's mom has to leave town and go somewhere. She takes Felicity's younger siblings with her. So Felicity is told that she has to take care of the home for a couple of weeks. Her dad is there, and Ben, the young man who works in her dad's store, he's an indentured servant, he's around as well. And just what goes on during this time, a package shows up with some really special things, and from the moment these things show up, there's a spooky story that goes with it, and it's from her dad's family. And ever since those things show up, really mysterious things start happening. It's really fun and sweet. I'll have all of these linked in the description for your convenience. Also, I have a link to my book club where we are going to be starting our November book club read together. We'd love to have you. And until next time.